Waka YouTube, I'm Xtivix, and welcome to Alone With You, a sci-fi romance adventure. Now, this game was on sale on PSN, and it looked fairly interesting to me. It seems to be a point-and-click adventure, and I quite enjoy story-based video games, such as the Walking Room. Can't do anything over here. Design and story consultation by Turn Colony A. Art by Benjamin Rivers and Gavin McCarthy. Getting really story design and Benjamin Rivers again, or different Benjamin. Getting a really 90s vibe from this. It's a command hallway. Hollow-sim chamber. Blocked. Main hallway. Crew quarters inaccessible. Ship hangar inaccessible. AI core. Sync mission data with AI core. I'm glad you made it back. I assume you were at your usual lookout over the rift again. You must have seen the worsening situation out there. Did you notice the planet's instability on your way out? I noticed. And you can appreciate what a pickle we're both in. I wish I had better news, but I feel I owe it to you to be honest. The situation is, unfortunately, quite dire. This Hudson Cartier terraforming project has failed. 16 years of work has been undone. I apologize for being so direct, but would it shock you to know that, by my estimates, we have less than a month to survive? Makes sense. Perhaps your astuteness is why you alone have survived. The next 3 weeks are critical, as Epsilon Eridani B continues to decline. We still have an escape ship here in Colony A. It is structurally sound, but I believe I can help you fly it so we can escape. If we can transmit an emergency signal to the home office, we can likely intercept a company vessel in our ship and gain transport back home. The problem is, there are 4 key systems on the escape pod that I can't repair, and you aren't trained to deal with by yourself. But I have an idea. It will require the use of our holo-sim chamber and a little bit of human connection on your end. You see, there were 4 other colonists who could have saved us if they were still alive. Winnie Laurier was our communications expert, and she could have helped us repair the navigation systems. Pierre Tong was the colony director and an engineering genius. He would have been able to assist us with the thrusters. Leslie, I'm gonna butcher this so hard, Bharadwaj ran the agrodomes, and I'm sure she could have helped us maximizing the ship's life support and food processing. And Jean Lumumba led the resource management teams. He could have shown us how to best keep the ships powered and stable. You and I can head out to find materials and information, but only these four could have guided us in fixing the ship. But if we can use the holosim chamber to recreate these four key colleagues, they can still help us, in a way. I know it's a long shot, but it's going to be a little unusual. But if we work together, I think we can make it. So that's the plan. Before you go to your quarters, though, let's register your name, so the holograms know what to call you. Please enter your first name here. You can use a maximum of 12 characters. Let's just keep it simple. Linden. Okay, you have entered your name as Linden. Is that correct? Yes. Excellent. I'm glad we got that straightened out. For now, just head to your quarters and rest. You'll need it for tomorrow. I hope the voice that I'm doing for the AI isn't too annoying. What's that? Okay. Private quarters. Excuse me. What's in here? Nothing. Rest for a while. This is my end. Good morning. I know you've just woken up, but as we discussed, time is of the essence. How are you functioning today? Are you well? That's good. Your task will be easier if you're well rested. Please come see me again in the core at your earliest convenience. It's the same kind of standard terminal as you'll find around the colony. We can't spare the power cycles for its use at this time, I'm afraid. You've left an empty photo frame, a rack, and some non-functioning equipment there. The shelf is full of titles on a variety of topics, including sociology, terraforming, and engineering. I'll never understand why people prefer physical books to their digital counterparts. It's simulated leather, specially treated to always be comfortable. The true quarters. There's a maintenance note that says, at YOSP and a pound AWY game on it. It also says Mr. Yoshida's favorite dog. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what that means. That door is password protected, but it's been jammed shut. Just head north to the core and we can discuss your mission for the day. Interface with AI core. Okay, Linden. Last night I scanned what's left of the colonies in hopes of finding material we can salvage. I think I found a few good leads. I think it would be best if you first go to the comms relay and find 5 communication devices we can use for the escape ship. The comms relay is where Winnie Laurier was last known to be. Hopefully, you can find out some more information on her on your trip as well. When you're ready, you can go south to the shuttle bay and plot a course there. Okay, shuttle bay. Which was right over here. No. To comms relay. Excuse me, sorry when I'm being a bit gassy. It's probably been a long time since you've been to the comms relay. I don't believe you had occasion to come here often, if at all. When the other colonists separated, this was considered a prime location. But only one person really had the expertise to make good use of it. Remember, you're looking for components we can use to power the escape ship's communications. 5 good parts should do it. Enter the comms relay. Oh boy. Even from here, I can sense how damp and musty it is in there. It probably smells to you like an old puddle. Remember, you're looking for components we can use to power the escape ship's communications. You need 5 more. This looks like a standard issue field notebook. Most of the colonists use these as well as data pads. The notebooks were inexpensive and easy to transport, and studies revealed that humans enjoyed physically writing on paper. That seems rather inefficient, but I suppose tactility is important in forming emotionally impactful memories. Speaking of which, this looks like, well, it looks like the beginnings of some sort of fiction. That's interesting. It reads, "The last interview with Paula M." Paula had suffered a long and arduous struggle against the dark, and now, in her final moments with it, she relented to its questions. There are only pages included with this notebook. If we want to read the rest, we'll have to find the other pages. That door appears to be locked by some kind of security system. This elevator goes up from here. Do you want to go up? Yes. Oh, I'm kind of getting... How are you doing so far? Do you need any help? No, I'm good. You are very resourceful, Lyndon. If you need a reminder about what you are doing while you're in one of the facilities, press L2 and I'll help. Locker room. Tower bridge exit. It's a small pile of physical books. All colonists were issued data pads with e-reading abilities, but I suppose that wasn't to everyone's liking. There are assorted philosophy titles from old human writers. You can see very neat notes written in the margins. The first page has a monogram on it, W. It's a series of torn pages, likely from that notebook on the first floor. It looks like the story starts here. The dark. Why struggle? You know I've been here. I've been waiting all this time. Why didn't you give up? Paula. It's not in my nature just to give up. The dark. Really? I'm not so sure about that. For a long time, even amongst your peers, you gave up. Or at least, you seemed to withdraw from them. Isn't that like giving up? Paula, I don't think so. The Dark, that's interesting, because they did. The further you isolated yourself, the less they felt like reaching out. Didn't you notice that? Paula, yes, I noticed it. I assume there's more. Maybe you'll find some more pages as we press on. It's interesting, though, isn't it? Really? I thought you'd even a little bit curious. Alright then, let's move on. Open relay conduit. It's an open relay conduit. It looks like someone had repaired this terminal more than once in an attempt to continue transmission. There's some clever work here. Your scan will help me configure the ship's communication parts to be more redundant and fail-safe. Now we only need 4 more communication parts from this area. That door apparently. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm not gonna keep saying repeated lines. It's gonna get a bit annoying from there. Conduit. Oh. Service panel. It's a remote service panel for running diagnostics and checking alerts. It's been jury-rigged to allow non-standard signals. This work is unconventional, but I can use this to boost the signal in the escape ship's distress beacon. Now we only need 3 more communication parts from this area. There are certainly fewer components in that tower than you might think. I don't believe the drones finished fitting it as well as the others. As the construction of the colony's prefab elements continued, resource allocation estimates often bit skewed. Too bad, really. On page. Looks like a further set of pages from the field notebook on the first floor. The story continues. The Dark. So what made you change your mind? You're here, talking to me now. You wouldn't have entertained that before. What changed? Paula. Well, this is the end, isn't it? There's no one else out there, so I'm talking to you. The Dark. You know that's not true. There are still others out there. You can hear them on your radio. Paula. But they don't know that. They don't know I made a new radio. The Dark. No, of course not. That's what makes you so interesting. You withdraw, but in your way, you still reach out. You just don't want anyone to discover that. Paula falls silent for a moment. This story sounds like it's getting serious. I'm curious. Who are you siding with right now? Paula or the Dark? Maybe you're right. We should see how this story plays out first. For now, let's move on. Nothing else on this floor. Systems administration. It's a standard issued bedroll. They're made of highly dense microfibers, so they're very lightweight and yet warm. It looks like someone has been using it as a habitat of sorts. Very curious. Antiquated technology. There's a hoard of old Earth technology on that dusty shelf. Amazing, several of the pieces are still functioning. Someone must have collected these old computers, sound systems, and radios. Your scan will help me to fabricate something inventive for the ship, I'm sure. Now we only need 2 more communication parts from this area. You found a hefty stack of books there. These ones are mostly adventure stories. You humans do seem to love these kinds of fantastic tales. The owner really did prefer physical reading, I see. They surely had access to digital versions of all of this. In fact, there was an entire database. As with the other books, these bear the W monogram. It's a portable safety light. These use sophisticated LEDs and can last for over a year each. The lamp looks like part of a little setup, including a bedroll. Someone must have been sleeping there. Please keep me informed of any other interesting details you find. Those special foil wrappers were used for food and snacks, but of course you already know that. You know, it took over 10 years of R&D to develop food that could travel such distances and still be palatable. Because of the efficiency with which Hudson Cartier transported colony deployments, a lot of food could be included. Previous colonial missions were less successful because of inefficient cargo and food stores. Of course, until the agrodomes were built, you all had to subsist on just these various portable stores. No, it's a standard security panel. It must be what locked the other doors in this part of the relay. Are you going to turn off the security locks? I did. Anything else? No. Been there. Over here. No. Okay, go down. It looks like that portable terminal still has a tiny bit of battery life left. That model was known for being quite long-lasting. I can use your scan of its components as a guide for making the escape ship communications equipment more efficient. Now we only need 1 more communication part from this area. A stack of pocket-sized physical books, I see. Looks like they're mostly guides to social interaction and workplace issues. I suppose whoever owned these books was, as you say, boning up. Is that what you say? Not really. Oh, I see. Then they were practicing, or at least studying, in regards to social interaction. Curious. That appears to be a heat-absorbing synthetic blanket. It looks like it was hung up on that conduit. What do you think it was used for? I suppose that would make sense. Those standard issued blankets are quick drying after all. It looks like a further set of pages from the field notebook on the first floor. The story continues. The dark. So who do you listen to most? The gardener woman, the drone leader, the self-appointed director, the... Paula interrupting. William. Sometimes he still broadcasts in the old colony. He sent me little messages, actually. The dark. And why him? Why William? Paula. He was so important here. He kept things working. He kept things repaired. He was essential, and nobody really gave him the respect he deserved. The dark. So what? Do you think you can relate to him? Paula. I don't know. Of all of them, I think I just understood him the best. When he stopped communicating, it felt like the end of the world. The dark. Well, when you think of it, it might be. You said it yourself. Paula gives the dark a cold, numb stare. The toughest she can muster. The dark. There's no point in arguing the inevitable. Paula doesn't say anything. That seems to be the end of the story for now. I wonder if William is in reference to Mr. William King, who was the maintenance chief in Colony B. You've scanned a still functioning terminal that is apparently hooked up to the tower's mainframe. I bet that room is warm. The mainframe is unfortunately damaged, but the terminal you scanned can still help us. Good work. Well, you found all the components I need for now. When you're finished there, you can use the shuttle to return home. Yeah, that's everything. The comms relay appears to be in worse shape than I expected, but good work. It looks like you found what we needed for today. Go ahead and use the shuttle to come back home. Oh, I can really drive off the edge if I wanted. How do I save? Excuse me. Excellent. You've arrived. Please see me in the core immediately so we can process your findings. Oh. Okay. Nope, can't save. It automatically saves by itself. Oh, excuse me. Oh, feeling really gassy. Okay, I've synced the data you scanned and collected today out there. Thank you for bringing this to me. I have good news as well. I've got the Holo-sim chamber up and running. The constructs of the floor colonists of the 4 colonists are already loaded. They're already working on helping you, but due to currently limited availability of power and processing cycles, the chamber's a little shaky. You can retire to your quarters. When I've got the Holo-sim stable enough for you to enter, I'll call for you. Can I go in there anyway? I know. Okay. Rest for a while. Lyndon, Lyndon, can you hear me? I'm sorry to wake you, but I need to show you something. I was able to make the final adjustments, and I got the Holo-sim chamber nice and stable for you. I think it's best if you meet one of the others as soon as possible. So could you please go to the chamber in the South Hall? It's dark and quiet. Just head south to the Holo-sim chamber and we can begin. Thank you for coming. The chamber will only work at night, when other systems are powered down. It's a limitation of our current situation, I'm afraid. This also means that I'll be in low-powered mode too, so you'll be on your own in there. I won't be able to see or hear what happens. So the time you get in the chamber will be strictly between you and whoever you're seeing that day. In the morning, the holograms will sync their data and ideas with me. Tonight, you'll be meeting with Winnie Laurier for the first time, since the comms relay was her domain. It makes sense that you visit with her. Remember, these holographic recreations, they're based on data backups I kept for each key member of the colony. They are, in effect, the very same people. However, after the Rift event broke off communication with other parts of the facility and I lost track of these people, I was no longer able to keep them up to date. These constructs won't remember anything past a certain point. They might be a little touchy about that, so please do be careful. Anyway, when you're ready, just enter the chamber and use the control station within. When you're finished, you can return to your quarters. I'll speak to you again in the morning. Good luck in there. You're very welcome. I hope these visits help us get closer to our goal more efficiently. We've got an awful lot riding on this. Bye-bye. Oh god, finally someone to talk to. Kinda. Oh, hi there. Don't mind me. I just need to finish these calculations. I'll be done in a moment. The AI told me your trip today. Did you, find those items you needed? I did. I'm glad. I'm sure this must be very difficult for you. Anyway, I think I'm done here for now. I guess, let's just have a seat on the sofa. I could use a break. The AI has us all working quite a bit. We can simulate pretty much whatever we need in here to figure out how to best help you. Whatever you scan up there, the AI can give to each of us in here so we can keep working. It's a pretty smart setup, really. I chose to make my work environment this room. That's how I remember my old apartment back on work. Is that weird? No. Well, I guess you're right. The others probably chose something more professional. But I just love this room. All my old books and the sofa. Anyway, the AI must certainly be keeping you busy as well. So, I'm glad you're here. And since you are, well, what would you like to talk about? You pick. Well, as you can probably tell, I'm not great at small talk, but okay. Let's see. How about books? Do you read much? Voraciously. Oh, well, me too. I mean, obviously, you might have noticed that, I guess, since apparently you found a bunch of my books. The AI told me about that. I really like adventure stories. Big, complicated ones. I suppose it helped to deal with the relative closeness of living in the colony. I could imagine I was anywhere, and the Hudson Cartier manual said that escape was important to thriving in a remote colony. I suppose that's partly why we're equipped with this Holo-ghost chamber. It wasn't standard issue, so the higher-ups must have felt it was important. There were programs that we all brought with us. I don't know how much about what the other people did in there. Maybe some took exotic vacations. William, Mackin's Chief King, I think he had some version of his wife in there. She didn't come with him. She stayed on Earth. Never said anything about it. I could tell it got to him. I mean, it did to all of us. But most of us were, well, alone. Normally Hudson Cartier wouldn't allow colonists to be separated from their loved ones. They came as a package, or they didn't go at all. Kept stress down, they said. But William, well, he was a bit older, and the best candidate for the job. I suppose HC knew how important he was to the mission. Damn. I wonder what his wife is doing. If she's still alive back on Earth. I wonder if she knows, what happened to us. Do you want to talk about anything else? Well, as I'm sure the AI explained, my job is to help you get the escape ship communication systems repaired so you don't blast off into space with no voice. Even if everything else is functioning, you wouldn't want to be out there with no way to contact anyone. I think I'd rather be adrift than not have a working radio. But I think the AI's plan is sound. If you can contact someone from a shipping lane, you can hopefully arrange a pickup. Kind of like thumbing a ride back on Earth, I guess. I never did that, now that I think of it. I definitely was too, well, afraid to try. Anyway, sorry, I'm talking too much. Odd, I don't think I ever talked this much before. When I was, well, real, alive. I don't know why that is. Want to talk about anything else? Colony. We had much a chance as anyone at making this work. In the end, I don't think I could quite believe it was going to fail. We all arrived here when 2048? What year is it now? 2064. Wow, so 16 years. So much happened, and there was so much needless loss. By the time we all arrived here in 2048, the remote colony building systems had all the basics ready. Most people were pretty excited to get started. But I had a harder time adjusting. Space travel will do that to some people. At least that's what head psychologist Miss Bocard told me. Something about how close everybody was, It was easy to feel trapped. We trained for all that, of course, but the real thing is different. Anyway, so we're in the comms relay today, huh? You were in the comms relay today. What's it like in there? Show pages. You what? Oh, you found a notebook, didn't you? The story in it. Oh, no, that's embarrassing. Yeah, that notebook was mine. I was writing stories while to pass the time and to deal with things. I always wanted to write a book, but I never did. I guess I figured it was my only chance to try. I knew it wasn't very good. I guess I was trying to put my thoughts and, well, my feelings into some kind of relatable way. But that was probably pretty obvious. It's funny though, now that I think of it, I don't know how the story ends. I can't remember everything I wrote. But, what did you think of what you read? I mean, if you read it. So. Yeah, I thought so. I'm not sure if I knew what I was doing. I just had to get some things out. What else did you want to talk about the comms relay? I understand. The acidic rain must really be wearing it down then. That was one factor that we couldn't properly account for. Hudson Cartier knew of the weather systems on the planet, of course. It had decades worth of survey data with which to plan for the project. But I guess a decade only tells you so much. The systems changed and the acidic rain became much worse and much more frequent. I'd be surprised if any of the structures there didn't suffer damage. In Colony B we had it the worst. Things eroded so fast. The comms relay seemed relatively intact, but even so, it was tough to keep the equipment working. I can still feel the chill of that place somehow. Maybe it's a good thing you had that scarf. Thanks, but I don't really feel the cold anymore. Not in a real sense. That's nice of you to offer that. What else do you want to think about the comms relay? It was empty. There are 5 towers in the relay. You must have been in Tower A. It was never completed. The relay was designed to be redundant, so not everything is in one place, and there are always backups of critical systems. I was the one who designed it, or consulted on the key components back on Earth. But everything was built to spec. I remember there were some issues with some of the drones. We lost some capability, so we had to think on our feet. That's why Tower A is only half finished. Seems like almost nothing went the way it was supposed to. It's so awful to think about all those people. It's just that we seem to have it all figured out, except that we didn't. What does that say? We were doomed to fail? It certainly seemed that way. So, kind of sound selfish, but as I work in there, I keep thinking about the fact that I'm here and yet, well, I'm not. I feel, I can see you, obviously, and it all seems real, but I'm not here, am I? I'm not really around anymore. So, obviously, something happened to me. I mean, the real me. I can only remember so far back, because the AI's version of me only accounts for so much. It's like a backup, I suppose. The me you see? This is the most recent version, but does it count? Does any of this matter if I'm not even real? You watch me. Okay, thanks. It means a lot that you think so, and that you came here to talk to me. I mean, not just for work. Look, I don't want to keep you here, considering all you have to worry about. You need to rest, and you still have so much to do. But do you mind to see if you can find out what happened to me? Maybe find some kind of record of what I went through? Okay, I'd appreciate it. I know you have more important things to worry about. Anyway, thanks again. Good night. And saving. Inaccessible. Time to go to my quarters. And after that, call it a day. And by day, I mean stop recording for today. I heard this session, I mean. be continued. Beep, beep, beep. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. This is an interesting concept. The constructs know that they're not real and that their purpose is to help me escape. I thought I had to convince them that they were still quote-unquote alive. And let me think about what you guys think about how I'm using the voices mainly for the AI. Is it too annoying? Do you want me to make it sound more natural and try to practice with it being just slightly computer sounding and not entirely like 80s or 90s sounding speech to talk kind of stuff? And yeah, let me know what you guys think of this series. Even if you guys don't like it, I'm going to continue playing it. I enjoy it, and let me know what I need to improve on. Let me know what you want to see less of, and I'll try to improve on that. Also, let me know what you'd like to see in the future. Please try to keep it PS4 related, since the only way how I can record is through PS4. And thank you guys so much for your time and consideration for choosing my videos to watch. And if you stuck for the almost entire hour of this, I appreciate you even more. And hope to see you in future videos and to read your future comments and suggestions and anything else that you might write. I plan on creating some social media for this channel. Let me know what you guys would like to. Let me know what you guys think of that. If that would at all help, as of right now, I'm just kinda starting. I have recordings in backup, but I just didn't have the motivation, I guess, to finish them. I'm kind of a lazy person. So more on that later. So I only have like a few minutes left before this wraps up. So yeah, bye. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.